Good morning, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 557 of Blue Quest Toastmasters. At Blue Quest Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. The club mission statement out of the way, you're now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting, and as such, a few rules apply to you. Please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in removal from the meeting room without any warning whatsoever. Please ensure that your noise-making devices are either switched off or on silent mode. I'll give you 10 seconds to check for the same. Please speak responsibly when it comes to religion, sex, and politics in your speeches. As far as possible, keep your videos on like I have, your audio off like I don't have, but then I'm speaking, and applause flowing throughout. Toastmaster of the day, table topic master, and general evaluator. Please ensure a smart audio video check before you hand over to respective role players. Role players, please rename yourself as role player hyphen your name hyphen your club name. You may omit please acquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer will either use the background change or screen sharing to indicate, uh, sorry, the timer will use either background change or screen sharing to indicate the time using one of the three cards. Green means that you've reached the minimum qualifying time. Yellow means it's a good time to start concluding. Red means that you have 30 seconds or more, or you will be disqualified. Individual session timings will be explained at the appropriate time. We encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons generously to encourage our role players. We sincerely request you not to send chat messages to everyone or the speaker on stage. In fact, if possible, refrain from chatting altogether and focus on the speaker. I typically keep my chats during transitions, so that might be a good to send out a chat. Reiterating, please stay on mute until specifically requested to unmute. Polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed after about 30 seconds. In short, be the kind of audience you want to have for yourself. Speaking of being the kind of audience, our presiding officer today is the kind of audience everyone wants for themselves. She is very encouraging. She is a school teacher. She has an Indian connection. Her dad is from India, not far from where I live. But today she is performing her role as a presiding officer for the first time. Let's welcome with a huge round of applause Toastmaster Sheila McIntyre.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupi. Thank you. Welcome, welcome everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you might be. We have several people from around the world, so it is wonderful to have each and every one of you. I see that we have several guests today. I may need some help in calling out guests as I'm still learning people. We have, let's see, we have Keith Bryan. Welcome. He is one of our speakers tonight. And is Pratima one of our members or is she a guest tonight?
Technically, she's a guest because she did not renew.
Okay, so welcome. And Sumangal, is she one of our members?
And technically, she is a guest since she did not renew.
Oh, we need to get you renewed, all of you, so we can have you join our family again. Is it Ken is one of our guests tonight?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome. And where are you from?
Singapore.
We're glad to have you tonight.
Glad to be
And
here.
let me see. Am I missing anybody? I think I have everybody. Rupi, do I have everybody?
Vikas.
Vikas, welcome, welcome. Hello.
Well,
Tonight we have an exciting meeting planned for you. Speaking of training, we always love to have new knowledge taught to us, none other than by an expert himself in the training realm. we are going to be handing it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Rupinder Singh.
Thank you. I've had a rather checkered career. I started out as a teacher. I went into application development. I then went into web development, and from there into training for a brief while. I came back to web development once again, then customer relationship management, web content development, IT infrastructure management, telecom, before finally settling down into the stream called training and development. It took me 10 years to find my calling in my professional life. Thankfully, I was born in the 70s because I understand that among the millennial population, 10 years is considered to be a lifetime in itself as far as professional lifetime goes. I have been a teacher, a trainer, a coach, a mentor for as long as I can remember, even in my non-teaching, non-training, non-coaching roles. Today, as your Toastmaster of the day, I'm going to share some key lessons that I learned as a trainer all these years. Starting with lesson number 1. Now, this lesson happened with me the day I joined my first job. Now, my first job was in the same school where I taught, where I studied. I was going to teach computer science. Imagine my first day at work. I walk in and I'm told that I'm going to be teaching students of nursery, kindergarten, and class 1. For those of you who do not understand, it's students who are between 4 to 6 years of age. And I thought that how am I going to teach them? Turns out they are the ones who taught me a very valuable lesson. And the lesson was that if I could teach kids, if I could engage a bunch of kids, if I could train them, if I could teach them, then I can train or I can teach anyone in the world. So the lesson is not that if you want to be a trainer, you start by training kids. The lesson is that learning can come from anywhere. And the first thing that you need to have as a trainer is a learning mindset. You must be willing to learn. It doesn't matter from who, it doesn't matter from where. When learning comes, you better be prepared. In today's Toastmasters meeting in this room, you will see people with various kinds of experiences and various nationalities. We have Sheila, who's from the United States. We have Alisa, she's from Puerto Rico. We have Ken, a world championship speaker. He's from Singapore. But when you look at the depth and the breadth of experience, we have somebody like Shaurendra who's been in the top echelons of the management. We have someone like Sungal or Amit who are basically in the adolescence or the youth of their respective careers. Every one of us has the potential to teach any one of us. For example, from Sharendra, if I learned patience, then from Alisa, I learned forbearance. From Anna, I learned how to be the best version of yourself. Every one of us carries a student and a teacher inside of us. You cannot be a teacher without being a student first. That is your first lesson, that learning can come from anywhere. Speaking of lessons, here is a lesson for you. A typical Toastmasters meeting contains 3 parts. You have the prepared speeches, where speakers prepare the speeches and deliver them on stage. Then you have table topics, which is the fun part, where the table topic master will come up on stage and give you a random topic. You will be speaking on it for 1 to 2 minutes. And this is the part where even the guests get involved. The most important part, the learning part of a Toastmasters meeting is the general evaluation. This is where everyone gets evaluated, present company included. And our general evaluator today is a motivational speaker, a trainer, and she just completed a 10-part video series on the epic zone. If you haven't watched it, you should definitely go and watch it. And while you do that, please remember to subscribe to her channels because she's coming out with surprises every day. Let's see what surprises she has in store for us as a general evaluator, as I ask you to put your hands together for Toastmaster Anna Whistler.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupi. I am general evaluator today. That means I get to decide whether this meeting was a success. And so far, I will say that we are on the right path. I will also say that I am of the utmost belief that the day I stop learning is the day that I am dead. So every opportunity, every day is a new opportunity to learn something. It is not just me who gets to help evaluate this entire meeting. I get an entire crowd to help me. At least I call them a crowd because three's a crowd. With me today, I have our timer. Our timer today is Sumangal. If you don't mind sharing what you will be looking or how you will be portraying the times, that would be awesome.
Hello, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I'm the timer of the day and I'll be responsible to keep a track of the time taken by various speakers and role players. Prepared speech is timed for 5 to 7 minutes and I'll show the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes and the red card at 7 minutes. And there is a grace period of 30 seconds on either side. I request speech evaluators to apprise me if the speech time is different from 5 to 7 minutes. For table topics, each speaker is required to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show the green card at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. The table topic speakers have a grace period of 30 seconds on the plus side. Speech evaluators are allotted 2 to 3 minutes for evaluation. The green card will be shown at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes, and the grace period of 30 seconds on either side. Please note that as a timer, I'll keep the cards up until the speaker stops speaking, unless otherwise instructed by the Toastmaster of the day or general evaluator. I'll provide no signal, verbal or non-verbal, to indicate that your time is up. Any speakers who finishes before or after the grace period will not be considered. And I'll show the timer cards as my background. So over to you, general evaluator. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Toastmaster Sumangal. Our counter to count how many filler words we have tonight is Pratima. Would you care to share what you will be listening for specifically?
Thank you, General Evaluator Anna. If you do have a friend who says obviously nearly every fifth word, you will have a good answer to present the next time they do so. Good grief. Also, you might be driven bonkers by the like thing. Like, I mean, you know, like it was, like I had, like a boom, please not again. Why do people have to use these crutch or filler words and spoil the beauty of sentences? We might use them to give ourselves more time to think or to emphasize a statement, but we actually, honestly, literally, and obviously ruin a speech just like that. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Today is the counter. I shall be taking notes of all the filler words like you know, like, etc., used by the speakers, and also repetitions done unwittingly. I would then present my report when called upon. Back to you, General Evaluator.
I would say that is the most precise, exquisite, and obviously talented explanation of the odd counter that I've heard in such a long time. So thank you so much. And last but not least, to round up our amazing female team of evaluators this evening is none other than Hope to be our grammarian. Would you also share the word that we will be using in today's meeting?
Absolutely. Thank you, Anna. As grammarian, I'm responsible for paying close attention to the use of language, providing constructive feedback, and introducing the word of the day. I'm here to encourage you to use the word of the day during the meeting. The word of the day today is masterpiece. I thought of this word when listening to a Les Brown video this morning where he said, you are a masterpiece because you are a part of the master. I'll be taking note of any improper language as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. So let's make this meeting a masterpiece because we are all a part of a masterpiece. General Evaluator Anna, I hand control the meeting. Back to you.
Very well done, and also exquisitely put. That is my team. I do have two evaluators who will be evaluating the two speakers, and I will be also evaluating all of the table topics as well. But until then, until you get to hear all of the wonderful words, the masterful words that we were putting together in this masterpiece, I will turn it over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anna, for that masterpiece of an introduction when it comes to as a general evaluator. So, on to the second lesson that I learned as a trainer. It came to me when I was still teaching in that school. You see, at that point, we got a lot of opportunities to write books, to do private tuitions, private coaching classes. And there was a lot of money in that. Trust me, the kind of amount that tutors made in those days was a lot. As a teacher, I felt that I could always do with extra money. But one of the people who hired me, he strongly advised against it. He said that if you seek money when you are training, you will not earn much. But if you seek to make a difference, money will come automatically. So the second lesson was set out to make a difference, not to make money. And believe me, when I look at what I have learned or what I have taught, every time I see someone who I am mentored or trained go up there on the stage or perform well, it fills me with pride. And yes, I could have earned money, but that feeling of watching someone you coached, mentored, or trained do well is something which is undescribable. You have to experience it to know it. Speaking of experience it to know it, we now have our prepared speeches section. In the prepared speeches section, the speakers come up with their topics and they have prepared for their topics. We have two prepared speeches for today. Our first prepared speaker is from IIT, which is Indian Institute of Technology, which is one of the top ranking engineering colleges in India. But here's the fun part. He does not work for IIT, but he does a very important role in IIT. And that is that he runs an incubation center in IIT. He helps young entrepreneurs find their calling. Before I call him on stage, I would like the speech evaluator, another trainer, another mentor to many, and a guide, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik, to read out his speech objectives. I will now add distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik to spotlight. Sir, if you could turn on your video. Distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik, if you could turn on your video
Yes,
and
I'm on
read
it.
the speech objectives.
The speech objectives for DTM Raj Mehta is to tell us about one of the activities that he is doing, and I'm not following exactly what is there in the evaluation form, but it's basically his experiences of how he has gone through a new innovative way of doing things. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I will now spotlight distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Raj, let's very quickly do an audio video check.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
You are audible and you are visible.
And
Raj is delivering.
I would be requiring to share my screen.
Share screen is enabled for you, Raj. Raj will be delivering his speech from the visionary communication path. It's level 5. It is developing your vision for speech. Time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. Timer, please note. Now, I will now spotlight Raj. Raj Mehta, incubator of incubators. Incubator of incubators, Raj Mehta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. When we take birth in this world, we always want to become somebody over a period of time. Similarly, when some units take birth, they also have some vision, what they want to become. As you know, I'm a part of an incubation center. We call it incubator, wherein the budding entrepreneurs who have some idea, and that idea can be converted into a product or service or application or software or process or product, anything of that sort. We help them in converting that idea into such an entity, because that entrepreneur or the startup companies have some visions. Since I have been mentoring many entrepreneurs in many aspects of their enterprising lives, and I have been handling one incubator of IIT Delhi totally under my control, I just thought that why should I not create something which shall be of use for the generations to come? Because during the experience of handling entrepreneurs and startup companies in the last 20 years or so, I felt that almost 50% of the companies fail. And why this is happening? Because there are many factors. It may be concerning finance, it may be concerning HR, it may be concerning markets, or so many things. So I thought that I should work for creating an incubator of incubators. So that is the vision, that I want to create an incubator of incubators. Why such an incubator would be required is just because I want to bring all the aspects of incubation at one place, or accessible to all the incubators or all the other stakeholders from one single window. That is the vision which I want to work for in the near future. So creation of incubator of incubators is something which requires a lot of work and a lot of planning because there are lots of incubators in all over the world. If I talk about even in India, there are around 147 incubators which are run by government organizations. At the same time, there are incubators which are run by private industrial houses. So how to bring all them at one place, or how to connect them? That is the vision which I have and which I want to work for. So I have to set some goals for that, because until and unless I have some goals for bringing all those aspects at one place, it is not possible. Because goals are the starting points which after working with, I shall be able to create something of the thing of the sort which I am looking for. So my first goal is to bring all the stakeholders at one place. When I talk about stakeholders, it means incubators, and institutes. In addition to that, there are some other stakeholders like governments, banks, finances, and so many things. So first goal is to bring all the stakeholders at one place. Second goal is to bring the funding organizations, the places where we can technologies, and the markets available at different locations. It may be some markets in India, some markets in USA, some markets in Denmark, and other places. So bringing all those markets and fund and technologies at one place is the second goal which I want to work for. My my third goal is to bring the knowledge which various stakeholders or the parties have, because exchange of knowledge is something which works towards bringing the goals at one place. If I talk about knowledge, I would like to give an idea that during the past 6 months or so, there was a delegation from South Korea, and they were all the incubators. They were incubating on their own products, and with the exchange of knowledge, we were able to get 2 of our companies to go to Korea and work with the incubators there. And next one is to bring all the human resources, whether it is the management or whether it is development of the human resources, that is also required to be brought at one place. If I have to set these goals, I have how this goal shall be met. That this can be met with the help of some tasks, and these tasks are unlimited. Even if I start working on them, it will take a number of years. For example, first task is to procure, process, and provide information about incubators, and institutes. And it is such a vast task, because getting the information from other institutes is not easy. They have their own government policies, they have their own confidential clauses. So bringing them all at one place or at one platform is something which is going to take a lot of time. Second task is to bring all the funders into the loop. That is the angel investors, venture capitalists, various banks, government banks as well as private banks, non-banking financial companies, and cloud funding. All these are required to be brought at one place. Yeah. Next is to bring all the customers and vendors into the loop. And after that, all the marketing and the human resource and government organizations or various government bodies shall also be required to bring into the loop. If I want to create such an incubator. It would require to bring lot of parties at one place. There may be some restrictions. Some parties may not be willing to come into the fold. But my vision is to create such an incubator, because I think, not only think, I vision that this incubator of incubators shall be able to help many incubatees, and they will be having various resources for funding and market and technology, and there will be lesser chances of failures in their incubation processes. I want to create a masterpiece of an incubator, and I hope if this process will get success, maybe sometime in future somebody will think about institutions, or government of governments, or bank of bankers, and so many things. And I hope that I would be able to do it. I would need some people who think in the way in which I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, for that masterpiece of a presentation and the masterpiece of an idea. May I now request the audience to please take 1 minute and share feedback for distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Timer, please indicate with the red background once minute is over. 1 minute is over. Thank you, timer. Now, those of you who are those of you who are accustomed to a Blue Quest meeting will notice that I made a mistake. Usually, it is the job of the Toastmaster of the meeting to read out the speech objectives. I did not. I actually called the evaluator on stage. Now, in the interest of fairness, I will now have to call on our next speech evaluator to read the speech objectives for our next speaker. Our next speaker is from the Bahamas, and he's giving a speech in our club for the very first time. But before I call him on stage, let me call Toastmaster Alisa to read out the speech objectives. Alisa, you're on spotlight.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Yes, today Keith Bryan is giving us a speech with the requirements of evaluation and feedback. This is his second speech. And the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. He did receive feedback, and we'll be looking out for that, including adding a personal touch, personal story to his message, clear gestures, lighting, and memorize his message. We will be watching out for these objectives and then giving a report at the end. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alisa. I will now add to spotlight our next speaker, Toastmaster Keith Bryan. Keith, welcome. Can we do a very quick audio video check?
How is it? Is it good? Can everyone hear me and see me well?
We can hear you. We can see you. I would have asked you to take care of the background lighting, but that's something that we cannot deal with right now, because there's a lot of reflection happening. Yeah, much better. Thank you so much. So Keith Bryan is delivering a speech from Presentation Mastery, Evaluation and Feedback. Second speech, time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Keith, it is what it is. It is what it is. Toastmaster Keith.
If you're here today and you've been hurt by someone you love, can you raise your hand? You can raise your virtual hands or your physical hand and keep them up, please. If you're here today and you've experienced or went through a natural disaster, can you raise your hand? I want all the hands to remain up, please. Now, has someone ever hurt you at all? Ever hurt your feelings? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, keep the hands up, but put them down if someone has ever done something very nice to you. Put them down if you've experienced the beauty of true friendship or true love. I think all of the hands are down now, and we can all relate to the fact that life is full of good and bad. Good moments, bad moments. Our experiences are very diverse, and our perspectives on life can be very subjective. I had a friend that sometimes I wish I didn't meet, even though she played such an amazing role in my life. Because of her, I sought therapy for my anxiety attacks, and also because of her, I am now a mental health advocate. But I only had her as a close friend for 3 years, and then she passed away. But it's not up to me to decide whether it was a good thing or a bad thing that she meant, because there's pros and cons to both. The purpose of this speech is to shed light and to bring a balance to the way we view life. I want to speak about a way to view life for what it really is. You see, the hard truth that we don't often learn in school, and maybe for more reasons than one, is that shit happens. Terrible things happen to us every single day. There's a famous quote by Ian McLaren that says, "Be nice. Everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." In life, the only way you can avoid hardships and seeing negative things is maybe if you go under a bunker underground and turn off your TV. But you see, despite all the negative things that happens in the world, there's still good in the world. And I'm sure we can all agree, because we're here today in this beautiful Toastmasters club with so many great people. Some of the good things that are happening in the world is that pollution is actually down. Air pollution is actually down significantly. And if you've noticed, female participation in politics has increased significantly. Isn't that good news, females? We know that our females are masterpieces in our society, and it is great to see them leading in the front lines and not just behind the scenes. And if you guys like pets, koalas are being released back into the wild. Isn't that good news? It's easy when things are going well. When you just hit the jackpot and you won $1 million to say, anything's possible, life's good. But I'm proposing that life isn't good or bad. Life is like water. Now that was actually some Fanta, orange Fanta soda. That wasn't water, but you get the point. Life is like water. Water is good generally, right? But if you ask someone who's living in a remote country or remote place in Palawan, Philippines, or in West Africa, where clean water is not so accessible like us, who have faucets of clean water running, they may look at water a bit different than we look at it. Despite all the negative things that happens in the world, it would save us a lot of pain if we stop yammering about all the things that could be better and accept life for what it is. I'm sure one of you must be thinking, so accept it. Can't we do anything about the bad in the world? By all means, continue to protest the evil that is happening in your community, the bad things that are happening on the US border with the tech in Texas. But we do these things not because the world sucks and is a bad place, but because we're passionate about creating change and we're passionate about the causes that we participate in. Sometimes it is not the world that needs to change, but it's us that needs to change. Wayne Dyer postulated that when you change the way you look at the world, the things you look at change. As we assess life, let us seek not to judge it for good or bad. Let us seek to understand it. Leotard says, be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize that there's nothing lacking, the world belongs to you. Life is ours. Life is neither good nor bad. It is what it is.
Thank you, Toastmaster Keith, for that masterpiece of a speech. Once again, maybe take 1 minute to write feedback for Toastmaster Keith. Timer, please let me know once 1 minute is up by changing your background to red. Thank you, timer. Now, I know that the next section that you're expecting is table topics, but we are going to take a slight deviation, which is good because it ties into my introduction to table topics and our next lesson as a trainer. Our speech evaluator number 1, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra, has to leave in the next 15 minutes, and he has requested that he be allowed to deliver the speech evaluation. I spoke with the general evaluator and she was kind enough to allow the same. So right now I am going to spotlight distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra so that he can deliver his speech evaluation. Shaurendra, can we do a quick audio video check?
Hello. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me clearly?
5, 6, 7, 8. You are audible. You are visible. I will just add the timer to the spotlight. Shaurendra, you're good to go.
Thank you. Distinguished Toastmasters, Raj Mehta. What a wonderful speech and so informative. I was struck by the huge commitment that you have when you have spoken about your vision. It proves that the 20 years that you have been handling incubators has all been put into your vision. And from there, your goals and the various tasks. It's a huge achievement that you are looking at, and your vision is really huge. Considering that today we have limited facilities of incubation in government and private sector, and then your vision and your plans of implementing incubators for incubation in a very major way is something which is very, very far-sighted. I really commend you for having brought to the stage the wonderful work that you have now moved into and have been wanting to achieve over the next few years. Putting it across through your goals where you have considered the stakeholders, the funding organizations, the various markets that the people who are going to use your incubation facilities will have to be working on, the knowledge that you can acquire. And the one thing which struck me is you've thought it so well that you've even gone to the HR part of handling things, which is a very critical part of any vision to be achieved. I am very sure that when you have earmarked yourself and have started working on this project, you have also put in a lot of effort on how to get each and every bottleneck removed, which is amazing. I'm sure encompassing all your thoughts and visions into a 7.5-minute speech is a very difficult proposition, but you have made an excellent effort to do it. I have just a couple of points, and that is primarily the use of your slides. The material that you had, the time and the pause that you took in exhibiting certain things was an impediment for your smart expressions. And the other thing is, I would have requested you to sit down and deliver the speech so that you have your laptop right in front and you could make the changes instead of moving towards it when you're standing. Overall, an amazing and absolutely amazing speech. I loved it, and I thank you for having shared such an innovative and far-reaching benefits that you're going to give to your customers. Thank you, Raj. Thank you very much, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharendra. As always, a masterpiece of an evaluation. And now we move on to the fun part of the meeting. Before that, the third lesson that you need to know as a trainer, I guess you must have guessed it by now, that is to expect the unexpected. I did not expect Sharendra to leave so early. I expected Coco Rivera to be here, to be the table topic master. She's not here. But I do have a very capable replacement in the form of our presiding officer today, Sheila McIntyre. Sheila has been a teacher for a very long time. And if there is anyone who knows more about teaching, training, coaching in this room, it has to be Sheila. Please put your hands together as a spotlight Toastmaster Sheila, our table topic master for today.
Well, it has been a great meeting up to this point. I hope I can continue on with that theme. What I've done is I've created 11 topics. Well, I didn't create them, I got them from somewhere else, but I have 11 topics. And just to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 and 11. So hopefully it won't take too much additional time out of the meeting, but something a little bit different than what we usually do. Would somebody like to go first? I love volunteers.
Narendra is leaving. We can try him first.
Surrender, would you
Sure,
like
go
to
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, pick a number between 1 and 11.
8.
8 it is. Strive for progress, not perfection. Strive for progress, not perfection.
Do we all want to achieve something in life? I'm sure we all do. But it is important how we take that path. It's very important for all of us to understand that if you don't strive for excellence, you will never be able to do a good job. Excellence should be that level where we would need to work. And very recent, and just a few moments back, we heard a person who is looking towards excellence through his project, his vision, and his thoughts. And that is how every objective that you have set for yourself needs to be looked at. And you have to strive and make an effort to achieve them. Once you do that, success will follow. And I'm sure each and every one of us would like to see success. And when we like to see success, it can't come just with a whiff of the breeze. It has to be with determination, confidence, and effort, and you have to strive to do that. Without striving and making that effort, success will never follow. Over to you, Madam Tabletop Master. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, moving on. What I'll do is I will post the numbers so it'll be a little easier to keep track. You will pick a number between 1 and 11. Please make sure you check the chat just to make sure as we go through the numbers. Can I have another volunteer? Somebody willing? All right, I will pick somebody. Ken, would you like to go? Ken, would you like a topic? I'm not able to hear, but if you can hear and would like one, I can come back to you. Pratima, would you like to pick a
Yeah.
number for me?
Yes, Sheila, I'll go for the number 4.
Number 4. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. So again, the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery.
Could you repeat the topic again, please?
I will, and I'll also put it in the chat. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery.
Thank you so much for the topic, Sheila. When we think about teaching, what do we understand? And what do we imagine? Do we imagine a teacher, a lecturer, a professor standing in the class and giving a lecture and demonstrating what to do, how to do, when to do? Do we imagine an instructional piece of teaching and learning? Or do we imagine a classroom where children are imagining, where children are exploring, where children are discovering? Good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I personally believe that the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. The art of teaching is the art of facilitating learning. The art of teaching is the art of giving wings of imaginations to our dear students. What kind of a classroom would you want to be in? Would you want to be in a classroom where everything is told to you, where everything is laid out in front of you, where you are taught what to do? Or would you want to be in a classroom where you are hands-on with learning, where you have someone who's guiding you, who's holding your hand, not to take you to a specific destination, but to be your guide, your mentor in discovering new facts, in discovering new informational pieces. The choice is yours. As a student, what kind of classroom would you want to be? And if given a chance, what kind of a teacher would you want to be? The choice is yours. I personally believe that the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. Thank you, and over to you, Sheila.
Thank you so much. All right. As the theme is training, teaching, mentoring, coaching, all of those things, I have some topics relate to teachers, some for students. So what will you get? Let us see. Amit, would you like one? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I'll take topic number 1.
Number 1. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching.
Life never really stops teaching you. There's one moment where you may feel that you are a know-it-all. And that one moment is generally certain terminal phases of your student or of your life as a student. When you're in class 12, you are this eternal rebel who feels they know everything and they are on top of the world because they have suddenly just crossed class 12. Then when you're graduating out of college, you again start feeling that you know everything and there's no one who can teach you something. Life is a lot more than that. It's only after these 2 phases that you are introduced to life. And what happens when you start experiencing life, contrary to what has happened up until now, is that you start giving examinations before you have taken the chapter or before you have studied the topic. So you first have an examination and then you actually study about what you gave an exam on. So life never really stops teaching you. It's about experiencing every day as it comes. It's about taking in the positives from every day, taking in the negatives from every day, evaluating them, reflecting back on them, and then incorporating them into your life in a way that you can make life meaningful for yourself and for others in the way you have basically, in what you have basically learned from the yesterday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you. All right. Kin, would you like to take a topic now?
Absolutely. The smallest
right.
number that's still available.
The smallest that's still available, number 2. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. I know it was a little longer, but the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice.
Thank you, Sheila. Fantastic morning, evening, wherever you might be. There's a saying that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But then again, haven't we all had seniors in our lives, perhaps our parents or our grandparents, learning how to use an iPhone, learning how to use WhatsApp, calling on mobile devices, learning how to switch on a computer? This ultimately is the reflection of how malleable and how much potential we have as human beings. Think about it. When we were young, we never quite expected that we won't be able to do anything. We had that willingness to learn. As babies, we all had that willingness to keep crawling, keep standing, falling until we can walk. Isn't that so? And here we are today at this Toastmasters meeting. Many of us have experienced so many things in life, troubles, tribulations, joy, all of that. And do we stop learning? No. Whether we have the capacity to learn more, we don't know. But as long as there's the willingness to learn, the willingness to put in the hours, that's where you build that ability. That's where you build that skill. And that's where we become masterpieces of people. So my friends, no matter who you are, where you're at, what challenge you're facing, if a simple boy like me from a small country like Singapore can make it to the world stage of public speaking, I know it's not about capacity. It's not about ability. It's really about the willingness. Are you willing to try one more time to reach your dream? I wish you all the best in discovering what lies ahead of you. Back to you, Topic Master Sheila.
Good job. Thank you. All right. Let us see. I may pronounce it wrong. I apologize. Setvinder, would you like a topic?
Yes, let's take 7.
7 it is. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow.
When we started, all good morning and good evening, all of you, all the Toastmasters meeting participants. So struggles, I think life is made of different kind of struggles. Each and every day you face a struggle from a smallest point of view, from a smallest kind of thing to a big problem in your life. So that makes the whole life interesting and valuable. So when we were growing up, we could not understand that, okay, I am facing only the problem. But if you go and check out with your friends, your relatives, you will see they are also facing the struggles. And when they have come out from their struggles, if you are facing the same, they can guide you better. They can tell you better that how to proceed in that kind of situation better. So then when you move on with different struggles, it's a kind of, you are passing the standards of your school and passing on to a different level. And once you pass on another major struggle, which is coming to you, you are going to learn something and you are going to actually have a better view of life. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sorry.
Good job. Great job. All right. Anyone want to volunteer? I'll ask again. I got nothing. All right. Elisa, which number would you like?
Let's pick the last one. Let's go with 11.
In teaching others, we teach ourselves. In teaching others, we teach ourselves.
I've spent the last 12 years of my life being a teacher. I've worked with all different ages. I've worked with children who are upper class. I've worked with children from the projects, children who can read, children who cannot. But in all of these levels and with all these ages, the one who learned the most was me. When I first started, I didn't know how to work with children, especially when they're climbing the walls, they are out of control, and you only have them for an hour and a half. And then I decided, I need to learn. I went and I picked out books, but they were too philosophical. Books this big, telling me in 300 pages why I should be in charge, but not how. Finally, I discovered this little teeny book in my grandmother's library. And it said, training children is like working with animals. You have to go step by step, go through the process over and over and over again. If you don't want a child to touch an object, put it in the center of the room, right where they can reach it. And when they walk over with their little hands to touch it, you say no. And you are going to go through this process time and time again, and they are going to understand, but you must practice. This little book taught me so much in 50 pages that those other books could not teach in 300. But ultimately, even though I was the one supposed to be teaching those children from all the different lessons they needed in life, I was the one that ended up learning the most. And I didn't just learn about training children. I learned about the difference that love and compassion can make. As these children started to reach out among themselves and show kindness and put these principles into practice, I began to see the difference that it made in their lives. And I realized we're all in this together. We're all working towards a common goal. And ultimately, what you see in a child's life and the way that they display love is the most incredible lesson of all. So who learned most, the children or me? Well, I think it might have been me, but hopefully we all learned a lesson or two. Thank you. Back over to you, Sheila.
Great job. A lot I can relate to there. Vikas, would you like one?
Sure.
All right. So we have 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10.
3.
3 it is. Learn continually. There's always one more thing to learn. Now that's a quote from Steve Jobs. Anyone who knows Steve Jobs, it was always about one more thing. So learn
Right.
continually. There's always one more thing to learn.
Okay. So I have been through. I'm actually a follower of Steve Jobs. I actually follow these quotes. I haven't heard this one before. That's a surprise, but yes. What I feel is it's a perfect saying, and I feel that actually what happens is there's no end to learning. You're continuously learning. There's no part of life where, as I guess Rupinder mentioned in the previous speech as well, that the part that the only way to not learn is to go on inside a bunker without TV and all. I would say that life is a continuous learning wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You're working in an office, you're playing with your kids, you're teaching someone, you are in a park walking. Wherever you go, the life and people have a lot to teach you. Whenever you are doing a new thing, anything new. For example, I saw this session in the morning. I was actually part of the incubation center. I was actually looking for something like the presenter mentioned, because I have been incubated by a couple of IITs in the country, but there was no center platform. And when I came here, I saw the speech, I learned that there's actually someone and something working on it. And and throughout my life as well, my experiences have been in the direction that whatever you're doing, there's no end to it. Every day you get to know a new thing, you get to learn new thing. So learning continuously, there's always a new thing. That's what I. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Hope, what would you like?
May I have number 5, please?
Absolutely. A quote from our very own Toastmaster of the day tonight. Set out to make a difference, not make money. Set out to make a difference, not make money.
Thank you, Sheila. Set out to make a difference, not to make money. Beautiful words coming from a very beautiful man, and we are lucky to have him as our Toastmaster of the day. No need to look shocked, Rupinder. This is a quote I hold dearly to myself. Upon self-reflection, I asked myself, what is next for me? Is the goal to build generous wealth? When I refer to my father, life is to be lived and to be lived more abundantly. And I was taught that service is just the start of the gifts that you will receive from abundance. So if I provide service to the world, abundance will just flow. So I seek to provide a service. I seek to provide inspiration. I seek to provide maybe any element of humor every moment of the day. If this is my goal of the day and my intention, everything else will follow. Health will follow, financial abundance will follow, and maybe a few friends that will comfort me in the low times will follow as well. I'll hand it back over to you, Sheila McIntyre.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you. All right, we're down to 3. We have two more people to go. Who's chomping at the bit? Who wants to go? Look at all these people raising their hand. Oh, no, I guess not. Raj, what would you like, 6, 9, or 10?
Yeah. Hello,
Which
Sheila.
one? You want me to pick?
Okay. So what numbers are available?
6, 9, and 10.
10.
You got it. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.
Mountaineers. If they want to reach at the Mount Everest top of the on the top of the Mount Everest, they have to start somewhere from the ground, somewhere from maybe in Nepal. And then they have to go mountain by mountain, because these are the steps which they have to cover, because these steps will teach them how to go ahead. These steps will teach them different experiences, different atmospheric pressures, or different environments, or the low temperatures. And with the help of that experience, they would be able to reach at the top of the Mount Everest. I wanted to learn a skill, that is playing badminton. When I just thought that I should learn it, I went to a coach and I requested him that I want to learn playing badminton. He, for the first week, did not give me any task to do. He just asked me to watch other players, how they are playing. He even asked me to pick the balls, or sometimes clean their bats. Gradually, when I went at the table, sorry, I'm talking about table tennis, not the badminton. When I went at the table, he also asked me to measure the table and the dimensions and how soft and hard it is. Then he asked me to play with the hands and that ball. Then he gave me the bat and asked me to play with it. He first asked me to play with the people who were not expert. And then gradually I was playing one day with the people who were, I would say, champion of that particular institute. So gradually I was able to win one of the tournaments there. I won't say it was a big tournament, but the things which I learned or which I reached at the top or the championship of the tournament of that institute was because I learned it step by step. So it is right that if you want to reach at the top, you have to go step by step. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. One more to go. Who wants to go? We have a couple more people left. Or shall I pick somebody? I think maybe I'm going to have to pick somebody. Rupi, 6 or 9?
I leave my fate in your hands, Sheila.
All righty, 9 it is. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Sometime last October, actually around this time last year, I decided to walk 1,000 miles. Not in a single day, but bit by bit every day. And trust me, the first week, it was literal hell. I would walk for 500 meters, run out of breath, sit down, and sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then get up, think about walking back home. But then I said, I did not come 500 meters for nothing. And I would walk another 200, 300 meters, again sit down, out of breath. When I came back home the first day, I thought that maybe I'll not go tomorrow. But then I also thought that I weigh 136 kilos. And carrying that kind of a weight is not easy. Throwing that kind of a weight, very easy. So I persisted. It was a challenge. The first week, or I should say the first 3 weeks, were the equivalent of hell. Gradually, I found my groove. I found that if I played music while I walked, I sat down a little less. I found that when I matched my steps to the beats in the music, I might not know how to dance, but it was the equivalent of dancing while walking. I found that over a period of time, when I was walking a mile in about 20 minutes, it came down to about 10 to 12 minutes. And you know what? I completed my 1,000 miles. It was the blog of 1,000 miles, and I completed it in April of this year. I don't know what's next, but I can tell you this: if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. Madam Topics Master.
Very wise words. I think we probably all have had something similar. Very true. Congratulations on sticking with it. All right. Well, that is all that I have for table topics. At this point, I am going to be turning it over to Toastmaster of the Day, Rupi.
Thank you very much, Sheila, for those masterpieces of table topics. You have earned the recognition of being one of the best table topic masters I know. Wonderful topics. Now, I would want you to do something that you should have done earlier, which was to vote for the best speaker. Can you do that right now? And after this, we'll be voting for the best table topic speaker. All right, another poll coming up, and that is for the best table topic speaker. Please help me find that. The best table topic speaker that we had today. Few more seconds to go. Okay, I'm going to continue while this goes along. In my experience as a trainer, I found that there are three types of people who come to a training. We call them the 3 P's in a training. The first P is the prisoners. Now, these are people who are there against their will. Maybe the manager told them to be there. Maybe they are there just so that they can feel like the way I did when I started out walking. They're there so that they can feel the struggle. Maybe they'll become inspired to be the next level, which is called the picnickers. Now, these are people who are there just to have fun, who think that sitting in a 2-hour training and getting to chat to people is their idea of having a good time. The final ones are the performers. The third P is the performers. These are the people who want to be better than what they were. Our jobs as trainers or coaches or mentors or teachers is to convert the prisoners into the picnickers and the picnickers into the performers. As for the performers, we want them to help us convert the prisoners into the picnickers and the picnickers into the performers. That is the 4th lesson. Speaking of becoming a performer, the next section will help you do just that, because it is headed by someone who's no less than the best performers that I have ever seen, be it willingness to learn or an enthusiasm to teach. Let's welcome our general evaluator, Toastmaster, Anna Whistler. Anna, if you could turn on your video so that I could spotlight you. There you go.
I don't know that I'm a great teacher or full of complete knowledge, but I am full of wit, charm, and very sarcastic jokes. So I'm pretty sure that measures up and I'll take it. But thank you, Rupi. Let us start into our evaluation side of this meeting, which of course is one of my favorites because it allows each of us to continue to grow and challenge ourselves every single day. I have multiple notes that I have been taking and am ready to share even more. But before I start, let me turn to our second evaluator, to our second speaker, Alyssa Schneider, to evaluate Toastmaster Keat.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you, Keith. Terrible things may happen in this world, but listening to your speech was not one of them. Today, you delighted us with such a unique topic, with your intriguing and mysterious title, It Is What It Is. And as you began with your questions and engaging the audience, I wondered, what are we going to talk about? Because your title did not give it away. It only created intrigue and mystery. And I loved how you had us involved right from the start. You had us raising our hands, you were asking us questions, and you just drew that audience right in. That was fantastic. As per the recommendations from your first speech of evaluation and feedback, you did indeed incorporate a personal story. And I felt connected when you talked about your friend and then gave us that twist and said that she had passed. And you weren't sure if actually having in her life was a good or bad thing. And that twist was surprising. I thought maybe you'd had a falling out, but no, she had passed. And I thought that was an excellent story, really captured my attention, helped me to connect with your focus. Also, I could see your gestures. You were standing far enough back. They were very clear. The lighting, once you turned off the background light, was good. And what I liked about your speech was the passion with which you presented. You were focused, you were interested and engaged. And by so doing, you brought us in as well. In terms of a few recommendations for this speech, going back to those questions at the beginning, I wonder if you might simplify just a little. And instead of giving us 6 questions, which is I think what it was, maybe just give us 2 or 3, because your point, maybe just summarize, make your point a little shorter so that you draw us in, but you're also able to keep moving forward and don't get stuck on that. Another recommendation, at one point in your speech, you said, and now this is the point of this speech. We're going to talk about shedding light and bringing balance. And ultimately, what the audience was to know is what's in it for us. So what is it you're going to tell us that is really going to help us or change our lives or affect us? So maybe changing that around to say, instead of saying, this is what I'm going to tell you about, maybe rephrase and say, what if you could discover how to bring life, balance in life and balance into your life? And that way you're going to twist that for the audience. And we're going to say, yes, I'm interested. How can I bring balance to my life? Another recommendation might also be, you mentioned several specifics about how the world can be terrible, but it can also be positive. You mentioned air pollution, female voting, koalas released. And I wonder if you could maybe tailor that information to your audience, look up who you're going to be presenting to and give us those specific facts. So if it's air pollution, tell us how has it improved, how many points, what year, not to throw a bunch of facts at the audience, but just to show that you really know what you're talking about and to make it specific. It's going to lend credibility to your speech and topic. And finally, call to action. You gave us the fact that the world can be good and bad, and you hinted at a call to action, but I was left wondering, what do I do as a result of what I've just listened to? So finding a way to give us specific action steps that we can take home. All in all, you had fantastic audience involvement, personal story, clear gestures, great lighting. And of all the terrible things that happen in this world, listening to your speech was not one. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. It is what it is. Thank you. Back over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alyssa. That was indeed a fantastic evaluation. All right. As the voting comes up for best evaluator, please vote for best evaluator, and I will start in on table topics and the evaluations for that as well. To start off, Surendra, who I know is not here, but I did like the fact that you talked about having a great overview. You kind of stated the question again within your subject, which is always a nice piece that helps you stay fresh and it helps remind you as to what you're talking about. In some cases, it can be used as a filler, but you did well at maximizing the use of it. The thing I would challenge you on specifically is that you are a great storyteller and there was no story in there. You did not apply any of your personal experience to it. So that would be a challenge I have for you. Pratima, I also enjoyed your speech. I know you have done teaching in the past, so I thought that this question was an absolute must for you. Art of teaching is also art of assisting discovery. I think that you could have dug a little deeper on some of that, given more applicability as to specifically how it might be assisting in that discovery. You were able to really dig into some of the discovery piece and you kind of centered in on that word. And I thought that was a fantastic piece, but being able to branch out more as to what that discovery would entail, I would challenge you on that. Amit, I'm so glad you were here. It's been so long since we've seen you, so welcome back. I love that you were able to jump in for a table topic as well. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. It's such a great subject. I almost feel like that could be a subject for you to speak on as well. You reflected kind of as to what Toastmaster Keith was doing in his speech, and I thought that that was a really opportune moment to just even reference that piece, and that would be my challenge, is that you talked about positivity and focusing on learning from day to day, and that's kind of what we were learning from Toastmaster Keith. So being able to tie both of those in just shows that we're live listening, active listening to the speakers. But overall, I really do feel like this is a good challenge for you, a good piece for you to actually have as a subject for your next speech, because you hit the nail right on the head as to what you were talking about. Toastmaster Kin, I almost feel like it's an unfair advantage, the fact that you're a champion speaker and you're doing a table topic, because I'm sitting here writing notes and I'm going, well, this is good, this was good, this was good. But I am going to challenge you, so I dug deep for this one. As you were speaking, and I don't know if you noticed, but as you were speaking, you were leaning in directly to the camera. And I don't know if that was because of the microphone issue, but was kind of like that neighbor that always likes to stand super close to you and you're like, okay, stepping back. So just be aware of the visual part of that. The other piece is there was no hand gestures. So all we see is your shoulders and there were no hand gestures on that piece. And I also would challenge you on some of that, and it's because of your experience and your excellence and your way of speaking, I would challenge you to do some voice inflection as well, having a little bit of an up and down variety. You started off though with a great quote and you combined real life experience along with the actual topic. So honestly, it was hands down amazing. Satvinder, the challenge I have for you, you are so good at explaining the question, but I want to challenge you to not explain, but trying to think of the word I'm trying to think of. You cornered in on the word struggle. Let's put it that. You did a great job as explaining that, using that as your byline, focused on that piece, and it was easy to follow where your mind was going. So it's very easy to understand. I just want to challenge you to be able to bring life experiences into that. And as you are working with the word struggle, tie in our word of the day masterpiece. So you can focus on some of, how did the struggle make us into a masterpiece? I thought that might be an applicable piece. Alyssa, great storyline. You started off with that personal application, which I absolutely love when it comes to anything on table topics. The challenge I would have for you is a little bit more of the vocal variety and a little bit more on changing of position. So you were talking about teaching kids and reading this 50-page book that taught you so much more than the 300 and doing a little bit more of the hand gestures piece. So adding a little bit more animation into it would have just added just a wee bit more into it. But as always, the table topics are so solid from you as well. Because great job on yours. You had a great mix of also great world application and continuing on what we're learning. My challenge for you is just to slow down just a wee bit. I felt like you had so many thoughts that you were trying to give us, and just giving a couple more pauses would allow you to just explain that much more. Hope, I love the fact that you start out with subtle humor, especially since we all know Rupi in this club. I really appreciated that piece. I think the piece that challenged me the most is you're the grammarian and you did not use the word of the day. So that would be my challenge for you as well, is just trying to make sure that's incorporated. Otherwise, some of you guys, I couldn't find anything. That was a really big, hard time for me. Raj, what a great start, talking about Mount Everest, climbing up, and then going into your story of how you overcame it, and then a great tie back to the challenge. My suggestion for you on that is that you had almost 3 parts to it, and we could do without one of the first 2. So whether you talked about Mount Everest and the climb, or you talked about your challenge of doing it, but minimizing one of those pieces would have allowed you to tie it back to the challenge or to the actual question at the very end without having going over time. So just an idea as you're trying to get through on that table topic. Rupi, you started with a story, check. You had the challenge and you expressed that, check. And then you had success, check. This is all the components of a great table topic. But you were this the entire time. And instead of saying, you know what, at the point of you achieving your goal, which is a huge goal, you could add something like, to my shock and amazement, or to my shock and awe, and get excited about the fact that you achieved an amazing goal. So a little bit more animation from you as well, but you had all the basic components. So great job. Now I can breathe. Let's go on to our timer. Timer, would you please give us the times for the speeches and table topics and evaluations? That'd be great.
Sure, just a second. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible? Thank you, General Evaluator, for giving me this opportunity to note the timings for the meeting. I see that meeting go very well within the time range, though we had a few disqualifications in the speakers. For the speaker one, the time allotted was 5 to 7 minutes, but it went till 8 minutes 54 seconds. And for the table topics, Raj, sir, your time exceeded to 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I think above that, other than that, everything was well within the time range. That's all for the timer report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Awesome. Thank you so much. On to our grammarian, Hope. What did you find for our verbiage this evening?
Thank you, General Evaluator Anna. I will now share my screen. To which we had a lot of beautiful phrases and words, starting with Keith. I wrote down phrases that stood out to me, such as initially sought therapy. One of the best lines out of your speech: continue to protest the evil in the world. You did use the word of the day, which was masterpiece. And I also really enjoyed orange Fanta. Although you were emulating drinking a cup of water, even hearing orange Fanta, the sweetness and the bright color was very engaging. Raj had beautiful language in his presentation, starting with an enterprising life. Why should I not create? The incubator of incubates. There we are. Bring the aspects of incubation into one place. Beautiful use of language, and these are the points that stood out for my eyes. On to table topics. Beautiful phrases. Strive, make an effort. Do we all want to achieve something in life? I am sure we do. Thank you for using these phrases. I also wrote them down to incorporate into my daily grammar usage. Pratima, I loved how you used facilitating learning, giving wings of imagination to students, the art of assisting discovery, and the art of teaching. Very, very elegant use of words. Kin, how malleable, how much potential we all have. How we become masterpieces of people. You incorporated the word of the day into your table topics. Beautiful element and very graceful grammar. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Amit, they are on top of the world, taking in positives and negatives from every day and incorporating them into your life. Elegant uses of grammar. Elisa, I'm determined to pronounce your name correctly. Climbing the walls, put principles into practice, and the one who learns the most is me. Sheila, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. There were many uses with the quotes that you provided. I did lose count. I enjoyed hearing chomping at the bit. All in all, to stay within time, elegant use of grammar, well placed and well directed. Unfortunately, Rupinder takes the trophy for our word of the day, using the word of the day 7 times, a record 7 times. Anna used the word once, Raj used the word once, Ken used the word, as well as Keith, and I believe I mentioned Raj. So everyone who used the word of the day, thank you. If I left out your usage of the word of the day, I apologize. We are all masterpieces, and I'm just striving to become a masterpiece like Rupinder. General Evaluator Anna, I will hand this back to you.
Thank you so much. And I cannot help but love the fact that you said, unfortunately, Rupee won. So thank you for that. Again, humor. I love it. All right, we have used up and given you as many opportunities to find as many filler words as much as you possibly can. Pratima, what did you find for today's meeting?
Thank you, Anna. Now, this is the part where I demonstrate my active listening. Speaker 2 Keith started his speech by saying, life is full of good and bad, and so is the counter role. Now, on the face of it, you might feel that an counter role only points out the negative. But what is the intention? The intention is to fix it, to find a solution, and to bring to our awareness as to where we are going wrong so that we can rectify it. So, with that positive intention in mind, let me please present my report to you. Toastmaster of the day, Rupinder, used 3 repetitions unwittingly. Speaker 1, Raj, used 4 filler words in his speech. The filler words being you know, Moving on to the table topic section, Speaker Amit used 1 repetition. Speaker Satwinder used 4 filler words. Speaker Vikas used 4 filler words. Speaker Raj used 1 filler word. And Speaker Rupinder used 1 crutch word, actually. So overall, today's meeting was a masterpiece of a meeting, and I really enjoyed being an accountant. Thank you, and over to you, Anna.
Very well done and well spoken. So great job. All right. Now it's my time to do a general evaluation of the entire meeting. So I'm going to start from most recent all the way back. I had an awesome tag team tonight. I love the fact that it was us ladies being able to get that in, and each of you had presentations available and a wonderful report. Pratima, the only challenge I have for you is I know that you are in the midst of traveling and we're so happy to have you back, but having some sort of a camera or picture or report or something would allow us to have just a visual piece, and that might just add a little bit more to your presentation. Hope, I love the slides that you gave us. It really gave each person that special feeling that you had listened and written it down, and it just allowed us to be reviewed, plus the fact that we could easily write them down again. And so I appreciate that. Great job. And Sumango, I really appreciate how concise you were. You didn't have to go over every time specifically. You just pointed out some of the major ones just to keep our eyes and attention to keeping within time. To me, that's a very big positive. Alyssa, I loved the fact of your evaluation. What most people may not know is that we had a request for you to do the evaluation, and you absolutely delivered without hesitation. And I absolutely appreciate the fact that you were willing to do that and step in, especially when we did a speech that was said in a different club. You were able to incorporate those feedback notes that you had previously. You did a great job on doing what, in my imagination, a perfect evaluation is: a sandwich compliment. You start with the good, you give him some things to work on, and then you end with the good as well. And you gave him specific pieces, gave him ideas of how to fix things, what to fix, and what you could do to change it. So great job. I, as always, love listening to you and your evaluation. Surendra's evaluation was also an awesome piece. The only thing I gave for notes for his is I want more specificity on what he says as what goals and what changes. It was very generic on some of the points on what he was giving. Sheila, thank you so much for jumping in on the last minute to being table topics master. I agree with Rupi. You are one of the best table topic masters. And one of the things that I love about yours is that you give this broad, somewhat broad statement, allowing us to define it as we need to. And I love that piece. And you gave credit where credit was due when you were giving out quotes. So whether it was one of our own club members or Steve Jobs or whomever, you really gave credit for that. And I appreciate that. Plus, you kind of gave them power in their hands, which is always a nice piece, because sometimes we as table topics masters try to create table topics in order to catch people up. And this one we couldn't. It was our own doing if that was the case. And I actually really like that. So thank you. Very well done. I appreciate it. Kent, wonderful job. I know I've got some notes that I'll send to your way as well, because I was there in your first speech. So seeing the second speech, I do see that you had made some efforts and made those changes. So great job. I would tell you that the controversial word that we've been talking about that you use, so shit happens, I would have paused for a little bit more effect. It's almost like we overbrushed that this time and we didn't really pause for that to hit for people to hear. So even though it's that controversial, should I say it or not, and we talked about it, that's the biggest thing I would say, is just make sure we pause and make it an emphasis, because we might have just overskipped that. Raj, great job as your visual and allowing us to see the entire concept of how you did things. We called that a bubble build or a bubble frame as to where I'm from. I don't know if anyone else calls it that, but it kind of gives us the centerpieces and then each of them branch out. And I absolutely love that, because it just gives you this entire brain work. And when it all comes together, it's kind of a mind-blowing piece. So great job. The only suggestion I have for you is definitely try to condense or focus in on one part, because I felt like at times you felt rushed and spoke fast, but you did a great job on giving us all of your pieces. For both speakers, I know that you guys were using both different devices. My greatest challenge for you guys is to make sure that you get in early enough before the meeting starts, before we start having people in, and verify that you have the right angle, the right lighting, the right set, so that you guys aren't jumping in and out and disrupting any of the other meeting piece. Finally, to our Toastmaster of the day, I loved the topic, even though that was not any of the suggestions I threw out your way this morning, your evening. But I loved the fact that you found a topic and you were able to create this whole concept off of it and created lessons. The greatest challenge I would give you is have some sort of a visual that goes with it. Because in the midst of me trying to take notes of the meeting and try to keep track of this, then I don't have a track of what for lessons that you've given us. And those are really applicable with all of your knowledge. So having something like that, or being able to type up something and maybe send it out, would be a request, because your knowledge is always very great. Overall, great meeting. I love coming here. I love being here despite any time of the evening that I am here, or however late it gets. I love being able to see you guys, and every single time I'm here, it is an absolute treat. With that being said, I am done with my report. I will turn it back to you, Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
Thank you for that masterpiece of a general evaluation. And boy, was that a meeting to be remembered. Now, I usually take Anna very seriously. So when Anna says that there needs to be some sort of a visual display of the lessons learned, your wish is my command. Now, before I give you those lessons, let me summarize them for you. Number one, you're a learner first, always and always. Don't seek to make money, seek to make a difference. That's the second one. Third one, expect the unexpected. And the fourth one that I covered was, there are three types of learners: the prisoners, the picnickers, and the performers. Your job as a trainer, make the prisoners picnickers and the picnickers performers. and seek the help of performers in making prisoners out of picnickers out of prisoners and performers out of picnickers. The last lesson that I can share with you. It is often said that teaching does not pay. Yes, it does not. There is a very interesting story that does the round of Facebook and I've seen on social media, where a CEO asks a teacher, "What do you make?" And she gives a very powerful answer. She says that I make 45 kids sit and listen to me. But more importantly, what I felt, the gist of that message, she can make 10 CEOs, but 10 CEOs won't be able to make a single teacher. When you pass out of schools, colleges, or when you go to trainings, you don't remember the school or the college. You remember the one person who made a difference in your life. And believe me, for that one person, be it your teacher, be it your trainer, be it your mentor, be it your coach, the biggest earning for them is the goodwill and the gratitude of the fellow students, of the fellow learners. So here's to learning, and here are the lessons for you. And with that, I give it back to the one who said that life is the greatest teacher of them all. And I totally agree. Life makes you learn even if you don't want to. Sheila McIntyre, the stage is yours.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupi. So true. Words of wisdom. That is spot on. Excellent meeting tonight. I'm excited that we've had yet another amazing Toastmasters meeting. I love this group. I'd love to hear what our guests thought. There's a poll coming up, so make sure that you vote. And while we're doing that, I want to call on our guests to see what their thoughts were about tonight's meeting. Any good, bad, ugly, amazing, whatever it happens to be. Let me see. Keith, we'll start with you.
Tonight's meeting, it was great. This is my first time speaking here. This is my third time visiting, and the feedback. This is my third speech as a Toastmaster, and the feedback, I've never gotten such detailed feedback. That is the reason why I wanted to speak here, and I definitely hope you all allow me to speak here again, because I realize that you all are very detailed and very knowledgeable. So I wanted to get evaluated and feedback from the best. So I really enjoyed the feedback. In the comments, you guys gave me some very, very great feedback, and I actually had to save each of them because I want to go back and really work on this speech. I feel like because of you all, I am a better speaker, and I'm happy that I found this club. And I think you all have, I don't know, maybe a future member, but I'll definitely be coming back. And I'm just grateful for you all. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. This one was different. Like I said, it's the first time I'm speaking here, so I'm excited to come back.
We're grateful to have you, and we do hope you will come back often to visit with us. Thank you for wanting to give your speech here. We really appreciate you coming in and speaking to us. Let me see, Vikas.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Your thoughts on tonight's meeting?
Yep. It was a really, really wonderful experience. I mean, it was beyond what I expected from a Toastmasters, and it was really great to wake up early and meet with you guys, have these interactions, and it was a really, really entertaining, learning time for me. And yeah, I would surely like to have more meetings and stay connected. That's it. Really great.
Thank you so much. All right, let me see. Other guests. Pratima.
Okay, that's strange to be called a guest. You could have been a past member. And yes, I'm hoping to renew my membership soon. Just need to work out my schedule. And also, I have a past reference. So I know Blue Quest as the Toastmasters Club is indeed a masterpiece. I stand by that. And yes, I have to say that each and every member, each and every role player does their role with utmost sincerity. I have seen that happen in this club, and I'm really fortunate to be a part of it. And I hope to renew my membership soon. So back to you, Sheila. Thank you so much.
Yes, we do want you to come back. We definitely do. All right. And Sabinder, you're one of our guests too, correct?
No,
No?
there is
Okay.
a member.
All right. I'm still learning. Forgive me. Is there anyone else that is still a guest?
Raj Mehta, Kin.
Kin. Yes, please. Amazing speech tonight. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of our meeting. Please share your
Thank you for
thoughts.
having me. I enjoyed myself as usual. I think it's always amazing to learn from everyone from different corners of the world. Thank you, Rupinder, for repeatedly sending me all the invites to all the events that you're attending. It's really a pleasure to have spent this morning together with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for not blocking me.
Thank you so much. And distinguished Toastmaster Raj.
Raj, you have to unmute.
Toastmaster Raj, are you there? Perhaps not able to speak at the moment. Are you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
the meeting was so good that I got fix to whom I should give the role of best role player. Like there's Toastmaster today, they would the speeches, the evaluations, the table topic speakers, everything was something I enjoyed very beautifully.
Thank you so much. All right. All in all, excellent meeting. Does anyone else have anything else they would like to add? If not, we will be ending our recording.
I have to share the certificates.
Oh, this is true. Everybody wants to know with bated breath who the winners are. How could I forget?
And I'll spotlight myself. And while I spotlight myself, I will also share the screen. And here we go with our certificates. So top 3 table topic speakers for today was, let's see, the third best table topic speaker. She's a past member. She's not a guest and she's looking to renew. Many congratulations, Pratima Rajasthan. Great job done with your table topic. Superb. Our second best table topic speaker, I am going to banish her from table topics because she comes and she always wins it and kind of ruins my chance at winning, but she deserves every bit of the accolades that she gets. Many congratulations, Alisa Schneider. A best table topic speaker showed us the stuff that champions are made of. Thank you so much for coming and not unblocking me, Kinang. Our best speech evaluator, well, of the 2 evaluators, one of them got disqualified on time, but it would not have mattered because our best speech evaluator was still winning by a wide margin. Many congratulations, Alisa Schneider. Wonderful evaluation. By the way, Alisa has also made it to the area level in the humorous speech contest and in the table topics contest in multiple areas. I've lost count. I think I have fewer clubs than she has area contests to attend. The best auxiliary role player. Wow. How did you get so much detail inside a presentation? Hope Williams. Many congratulations. That is something I want to learn from you. So much of content. There must be like 8 to 10 slides. I really need to learn how do you do grammarian. And next time I need a grammarian, I know who to wake up, even if it is at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what I'll enjoy more, you playing grammarian or me waking you up at 3 o'clock. Okay, the best role player is the best general evaluator I know, Anna Whistler. And the best speaker. Now, we had 2 speakers today. One of them got disqualified, but once again, it would not have mattered because the other speaker ran away with the votes. So many congratulations, Keith Bryan Jr. Great job, done. Now, before I hit send certificates by email, is there anyone who who would say that they did not participate in a table topic or that they got the certificate wrong? Going once, twice, and sold. You'll get the certificates in your inboxes, respective inboxes. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing my screen. And if there is nothing else, I would like to, yes, speak now or forever hold your peace. I would like to stop the recording with the permission of the presiding officer. Should we stop? Okay.
Yes.